Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elon Musk.
Hello. Testing 1, 2. All right. All right. All right. Welcome everyone to the Model X launch. So, thank you all for coming. The Tesla team has worked incredibly hard. They've done, I think, an amazing job, and I'm really looking forward to showing you the car. I want to start off just by reminding people like what the mission of Tesla is to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport. As I think you guys know, it's incredibly important that we move to a sustainable world sooner rather than later. The sooner we do it, the better it is. And and it's important to show that that any type of car can go electric. We showed that you could make a compelling sports car with the Roadster, and that could go electric. And we showed that you could do it with a sedan, and now we're going to show that you can do it with an SUV. So we're going to start off with what's actually most important for a car, which is safety. So if you're driving, you're carrying your friends and family around, there's really nothing that's more important than safety. So first and foremost, the car's got to keep you and the ones you love safe and protect you under any circumstance you can imagine. So. Thank you. So, there you have the Model X. I'm going to talk a lot more about the details of the car, but I'm going to start off with safety. With the Model X, we've created the safest SUV ever. It's the first SUV that's 5 stars in every category. And I thought I'd just explain what does 5 stars mean, because 5 stars is not technically a statistical number. It's sort of a rough reference point. And what it actually means is it describes the probability of a serious injury in a high-speed accident. So you start off with sort of 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and they go down in 5% increments. So a 4-star would be a 15% probability of injury in a high-speed accident. 5-star would be 10%. Hypothetically, if there was a 6-star, it would be at 5%. And we've been able to get with the Model X an expected rating of about 6.5%. So. And so let me explain how we get to such a low probability of injury. It goes to the design of the car and the fundamental architecture. So starting off with the frontal, what happens in a frontal crash. This is where most injuries and deaths occurs in a frontal crash. And normally with a gasoline car, you've got a large steel engine block in front. And so in a high-speed impact, that engine block compresses into the passenger compartment and obviously causes damage to the people that are sitting there. With the Model X, there is no such thing. So we have a small electric motor that's down low by the battery pack. And the net effect is that you've got a much larger distance for the crumple zone. So it's really taking impact energy is about force over distance. And if you've got a longer distance, you can actually distribute that force over that longer distance and have a better deceleration and not impact the cabin. So in the case of the frontal zone, you've got something that's the equivalent of, like, if you were to jump out of a tall building into a pool, it's the difference between jumping into a pool or a pool with a rock in it. So you don't want the pool with the rock in it. So then going on to a side impact, the Model S and the Model X are about half of the next best in the SUV class. So the X is so the side pole intrusion is only 215 millimeters in the Model X, and that's compared to the next best SUV, which is about double that number. And let's see what that looks like in pictures. So this is what it looks like with this is the actual side pole test for the Model X compared to the next best SUV in the world. Yeah. I mean, this is the difference between life and death. This is a really big difference. So, and then now let's look at the rollover numbers. So the Model X, because it has a low center of mass with the battery pack and the floor pan, has half the rollover propensity of any SUV or minivan. So the probability of a rollover injury is substantially reduced. And you can see this in the architecture. We start with the pack, and that pack provides a stiffening member for the whole car. It provides a very strong foundation for the whole car, lowering the center of mass, and serving as a load transfer medium to the rest of the vehicle. So whereas a gasoline car really just has thin corrugated sheet metal at the base and can't transfer the load in a side impact. So we'll just show you the rest of the car building up. You see the motors and the chassis. It gives you a sense for the core architecture of the car. Now, of course, the best protection is not to get into an accident at all. So the Model X comes standard with active safety, which includes automatic emergency braking and side collision avoidance. So the car will actually use the camera and the radar to automatically brake before there's an accident, and it will use the ultrasonic sensors around the side of the car to steer you away from a side collision. And these are active all the time, and it's just a standard feature in the car. Now, the third thing, which is sort of topical, is air safety. Now, we designed the car well before recent events. So it just happens to have, there's recent events have illustrated the importance of air safety. And we have with the Model X the first true HEPA filter in a car. So why is it important to have a particulate filter? Why is it important to have a gas filter in the car? It's because this translates to a real change in life expectancy. So these are the most conservative numbers we could find on the internet. Like the most conservative. They go way worse than this. This is basically the least bad thing that would happen if you lived in these cities. So, and now let's take a look at the filters themselves. I want to show you just how much of a difference this is. The top one is our primary air filter. The one on the left and the bottom is our secondary air filter. The one on the right is a normal car air filter. I think we've got some of those here. So this is what a normal car filter looks like. It's really quite small. This is this is the primary air filter of the Model X. And this is the secondary air filter. Our secondary air filter is bigger than the primary air filter of a typical car. So not only is it 10 times larger area, but the quality of the filter is greater. So that translates to a several hundred-fold improvement in the filtration capability. It is 300 times better at filtering bacteria, 500 times better at allergens, 700 times better at soot or smog, and 800 times better at filtering viruses. And this is on a bad day. So this is the minimum passing grade when it's just operating at its worst. So, so in addition to the particle filters, we have 3 layers of active carbon. So we've got one universal adsorbent layer, that's the initial layer. Then we've got another activated carbon layer that's meant for acid gases, and another one for alkaline gases. The net effect of the air filtration system is that you have air cleanliness levels which are comparable to a hospital operating room in the car. And in fact, when the car is operating at its at maximum capability, so if you sort of press max capability in the car, we can't even detect any viruses or bacteria or spores. So it's like 0 come through. So if there's ever sort of a apocalyptic scenario of some kind, hypothetically, you just press the bioweapon defense mode button. This is a real button. So what, yeah, we're trying to be a leader in apocalyptic defense scenarios. So let's move on to the car itself. Like, what's cool and fun about the car? Doors and windows. Okay. So you're obviously familiar with the Falcon Wing door. What we also have is an auto-presenting front door. So what it'll do is it'll triangulate my position and detect that I am moving towards the front door. It will open the front door without me touching anything. I will sit down and it will close the door, like an invisible chauffeur. And there are a few other features that are hard to demo in this exact scenario, but something that we worked very hard on is a windshield that's a panoramic windshield. So it comes up and over and feels like a helicopter cockpit when you're driving. So it gives you unbelievable visibility. It's transformative in the driving experience. So you really, when you do the test drives later tonight, you'll see what I mean. It's really makes a difference. And then in addition to that, we also have it's a small feature, but an important one, is the ability to blind holster your phone. So this is like one of those things where it's small, but it's important. Instead of having to fiddle with a bunch of wires to plug in your phone, you can basically take it out of your pocket and blind holster it. It'll automatically fit, and there are adapters for every variant of popular phone. So, let's open these doors. So the reason we created these doors was originally we were trying to solve a problem, which is how do you access the third row if you have child seats in the second row? And I encountered this problem when I first got a gasoline SUV, and I had twins, and once you put them in the second row, you couldn't access the third row. So we wanted to have an opening that was big enough so that you could do that. So you could have real utility of the third row, even if you have kid seats in the second row. So you basically just press the button. The seats will go forward, and I can step directly in. So. It's also important that if you have, say, a child seat here, that instead of having to cantilever your kid out in front and sort of put them basically into a small hole, you can actually just stand right here. You can actually step into the car if you want, and you can just put your child down in the child seat. It makes a huge difference in terms of back strain and comfort. So those are the two functional reasons, and then it also looks cool. So, yeah. So that's the Falcon Wing doors. And now, obviously, a question with the doors is, so how do they fit in tight spaces? Well, we'll show you. Let's bring out the cars. So the scenario we're going to show you here is if you've ever been in a parking lot and someone parked real close. So I don't know if you can see well here, but there's only about a few inches separating the side mirrors on each side of the car. So we're going to open the Falcon Wing doors when there's barely enough room to squeeze between the two cars. So the reason it's able to do that is because, unlike a traditional gull-wing door, which is only actuated on a single hinge, the Model X Falcon Wing doors are actuated on two hinges. So it's able to move up and over instead of simply moving out in a broad arc. And moreover, if you compare it to, say, a minivan door, let's open the minivan door here. You can see that when the minivan door opens, I can't even get through that space. So let's close the minivan door. Now the Falcon Wing door is open. So our goal was to create an aperture that was more functional than a minivan door, and I think the team has succeeded. So I think it's the best aperture out there. And just to illustrate what it's like in a garage, so you saw what it's like if it's tight from a side standpoint. Well, what if you have a low garage? That's one of the most common questions I get about the Model X. The car actually automatically senses what the roof height is. So there are ultrasonic sensors in the roof of the car that calculate the roof height and automatically compute a new opening arc depending upon what the height of the ceiling is and what the side obstacles are. And we actually developed a new ultrasonic sensor that's able to do sonar through metal. So in order to avoid having a puck, which is ordinarily needed for ultrasonic sensors, we thought the aesthetics of the puck would not be good because it would have to be in the center of the door. So we actually developed an ultrasonic sensor that can literally see through metal. All right. So let's maybe talk a bit more about the second row seats. So normally second row seats in a car don't get a lot of love. So let's show you what second row seats typically look like in a car. So that's sort of what second row seats normally look like. But particularly when you open something and it's silhouetted, as it does with the Falcon Wing door, it tends to create a halo around the seat. So we put a lot of effort into creating a beautiful seat. And not only is the seat, I think, probably the best looking second seat, if that's a superlative, ever, but it actually provides more functionality because you have a flat floor and you can stow if something. So if you've got a backpack or a laptop or a handbag, you can stow that under the seat instead of having it at your feet. So it actually provides utility as well as aesthetics. All right. And speaking of utility, let's see what the Model X can really carry. So the Model X is capable of towing 5,000 pounds. So 5,000 pounds while carrying 7 people and quite a lot of luggage. Yeah. And of course, let's not forget about the front. Yes, we need the stroller. There we go. Do you want to put them in or do you want to carry them out? All right. All right. All right, so there you have it. Model X carrying seven people, a 5,000-pound trailer, and I lost count of how many bags, and a stroller. All right, so something we developed for the Model X is, like, let's say you want to carry skis, bikes, and you want to do that quickly and easily. We made an accessories hitch that can be put on by a kid in approximately 10 seconds. Thank you. I think that was more like 5 seconds. So the accessories hitch can carry up to 4 bikes or up to 6 sets of skis. And you can close the trunk and have full functionality with the rest of the car. Woo. Skis and snowboards, indeed. And then the final element, of course, is performance. Even the standard version of the Model X has quite high performance. So it's got the standard version, 90D's, got 257-mile range, all-wheel drive, of course, and it gets to 60 miles an hour in 4.8 seconds. And then the P90D Ludicrous mode. I mean, this goes so fast it's wrong. So do 0 to 60. This is an SUV, and it'll do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. All right. So with that, let me let's hand over the post-production cars. All right. All right, so let's see, VIN 6. Hey. Hey, Ara. What's up, man?
Amazing.
Hey.
Congratulations. Such an awesome job.
All right, cool. Nice license plates. All right. All right. All right, it's VIN 5. Car's coming soon. All right. Good to see you. Is you okay? Hopefully the call will be here soon. All right, thanks. All right, and VIN 4. Standing for Sergey. All right. All right. Oh, hang on, two. VIN 3. All right. Good to see you. Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, and VIN 2. All right. Yeah, man. All right. And then, let's see. Then the final one is my car, which is going to be up in a moment. And I will leave up. I'll leave my car on stage when it arrives, so that you can come and take a close look at it and pull around it and that kind of thing. And that's that. Really, I hope you have a great night. Enjoy the test drives. So. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank the Tesla team who worked super hard to make this night work. All right, thanks. Have a good night.